the hot sauce, Bill Funk. Give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs. Woo! Let me step back and kiss myself. MVP time.
Oh, yeah, we are ready to roll. It's almost Thanksgiving, and we are very thankful for all our loyal listeners and viewers on Gimme the Hot Sauce. We've been going for over a year now, and we're having a great time. The show continues to grow as we add sponsors to the mix, and Stacey's kind enough to join us from the road. I tell you what, you just got off the road. Long 5-game Western swing, and now they stick in this 2-game trip over Thanksgiving. That ain't right, Stace.
Yeah, first of all, let me just say something, Mark, before we even get started on this. Okay. Does DJ Pavel have somewhere to go? Because he didn't even give us a warning that he's starting the music, and he just started it up. So does he have to be somewhere at a certain time, DJ Pavel? Does he got to be somewhere at some time? Because, we need a cue. You need to let us know the music. We're getting ready to go.
Pavel's a ladies' man. He's always got somebody waiting,
You know what? I don't underestimate that, okay? But as the new DJ on our show, he's got the great music. But you got to let us know what's going on, man. We're over here talking. We're over here having some fun talking. I'm talking about whispers. All of a sudden, the show started. I'm like, wait a minute, are we starting? Oh, okay. But DJ Pavel, I love you, boy. This is appreciation day. Okay? I'm appreciate what you do, okay? You're doing a great job, Pavel. Keep it up. The Russian Nightmare.
I heard him say, it's good time.
It's good time. Hey, I must break you.
He was prepping before the show, Stacey. He's got some mixes ready to roll. I mean, this guy's ready.
Hey, you know what? Hey, we've given Pavel creative control to do the music. We've upgraded our music and what we're doing now. Give it hot sauce. Okay, but until we hear something we don't like, it's kind of a surprise. Like he just plays it and we go, okay, that's nice. But one of these days he might play something we don't like. We might have to
or he might
have HR room.
Might have a copyright violation. That wouldn't be good.
Yes. And then we'll have Mark. Then we'll have to pull him in the HR room.
That's right.
And we'll have to talk to him. Okay. We got an HR room and give me the hot sauce. I know there's only 3 people on here, 4 people, but we do have HR.
Timmy Whispers is here, ready to roll. You got your Thanksgiving all in order? Got the bird ready to roll?
I'm just getting some cheeseburgers and calling it a day. It's too much work.
Oh, you getting ribs? You get short order of ribs?
I can't say ribs on this show anymore. I'm not allowed.
You definitely can't say it. You definitely can't say ribs on this show anymore. You're selfish.
Dumb. Just getting a box of White Castles and call it.
That ain't right.
You know what?
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what I'm getting myself for Christmas, an early Christmas present, is your grill, Tim. So I can grill my own ribs.
Off of my deck
to get some ribs. What is it called? Traeger?
Built-in smoker?
Yeah, it's the way to go.
Yeah, the Traeger smoker, yeah. I'm getting that one, okay? I'm getting that one because of the way Tim's ribs tasted. Oh, his sister, Kim, she made some ribs. We had a taste test, Mark, right? You weren't invited.
I know.
The rest of them, give me the hot sauce crew wasn't invited. I was the only one invited. And the only reason why I got invited, they wanted me to serve ribs. So I go down to sit down. Kim says, hey, I want to have a taste test because everybody talks about how good Tim's ribs are. I want to see who's the best. So she brought her ribs, and then Tim brought his ribs, and they mixed them up. No one knew who what was. And then all of a sudden, you know who Tim's ribs were. You knew. As soon as you bit into Tim's ribs, it was, no. This ain't your brother's ribs. They're twins too. They're twins. They're connected. Connected. So, the ribs were not connected.
Well, she did the dry rub oven, and mine were the Traeger with the King's Q sauce on it. So
there you go.
Yes. That is
Tim,
true. I forgot to add that. You know what, Tim? Self promotion. I'm not big on that. Okay, but since you brought it up, yes, we did put my special King's Q sauce on Tim's ribs, and woo, Lord, they were good.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, I noticed you got a plug in the game yesterday. That was pretty good work there, Stace.
Hey, you know what? You got to get in when you can. It's like Chicago traffic, Mark. You see it open and you got to hit it. You can't be waiting for someone else to take that moment. Okay, you only got you got like a couple seconds, and when someone sets the table for me, I'm like MJ, I'm taking a shot, baby. They set the table for me, Mark. They left the door open, and I kicked it in. I'm always going to promote. Give me the hot sauce as much as possible.
Well, it is the holiday season, and people are looking for that unique, special gift that they can give someone. You got the read handy, Stacey. Can you give us rundown how people can get some of that great sauce? Yeah.
Okay. Hey, America, here we go. If you like hot sauce and barbecue sauce, then you are listening to the right show. Give Me the Hot Sauce has the best small batch organic sauces to spice up your kitchen. Woo! Chicago-style red sauce with a garlic twist. Our St. Pat's Verdi's green sauce with extra avocado and cilantro. And our special King's Q. Ooh, a bold, spicy, and sweet sauce just like me.
Oh, boy.
Use code HOTSAUCE21 to get 21% off your first order. That's HOTSAUCE21 for 21% off. Can't beat that deal, ladies and gentlemen. Order yours today for the holiday. And remember, she'll like it.
Our mouth is watering here in the Hustle and Flow studio, man. That was some great stuff. So if you want to get that special gift for the Bulls fan in your life, you want to do that, because when they open that package, they are going to be excited. There is no question about it. And everyone's excited about this basketball team. We can throw out the Indiana game because I think that was a schedule loss, Stacey. You know, you had a tough game against the Knicks on Sunday night. You come back. Indiana's a team that's fighting to try to get back in the mix in the playoffs, and they're way better than what their record shows.
Well, I mean, Mark, think about this. We just got back from a 10-day road trip against some of the best Western Conference teams out there. Before that trip even started, people were really considering, thinking, are the Bulls really going to be real? Are they going to be able to navigate through all these tough games that they have, during this month of November? And I think we showed everybody we're a legit, real basketball team. We really probably should have been 4-1 on that trip. I would have liked to play Golden State later in the trip than the first game. Mm-hmm. I think had we played them later on in the trip, I think we win that game. People say, well, you beat Denver without Jokic. Well, that's not our fault. We play who's on the court. It's about winning with this team and getting confidence. I think what they showed people on the West Coast was that they are one of the best defensive teams in the league. And they get after you. They compete. There's some times where, Mark, that you're going to run into some teams that have a dominant center. You're going to get an Embiid or Jokic, or we saw last night against Indiana. You got Sabonis and you got Miles Turner. Those guys were big, strong guys. That one was an all-star, one is on the verge of being an all-star. So that was a tough game. And then that's the type of game where you say you had the game before against the Knicks. That took a lot out of the Bulls mentally and physically. That was an old Eastern Conference playoff game. It was ebbs and flows all throughout the game, ups, downs. Looked like the Bulls were going to blow the doors off early going. The Knicks came back. That second group the Knicks brought in there with Derrick Rose, quickly, Obi Toppin. That second group for New York's going to give a lot of teams some problems. They're young, they're athletic. You got a veteran point guard in Derrick Rose who can still get it done. They really made a difference in that game, got the Knicks back into it, got them that lead in the second quarter. And then it looked like they were going to run away with it. And then the Bulls, defense in the third quarter, AC, we know what he does. We see how valuable he is. And we saw that last night. Him not being there. I know people are saying, well, that was just one game and the team was tired. I believe if AC plays last night, that's a different ball game, because his energy and the way he competes on a nightly basis is it's inspiring. It's one of those things where everybody's contagious. Everybody feeds into it. I believe Lonzo feeds into it. DeMar, I believe that whole starting five feeds into it, and it trickles down to the bench. I thought last night against Indiana, they were slow on rotations. Probably one of the worst defensive efforts they've had this year. They still put themselves in an opportunity to win. They had a game close at one point, and then all of a sudden the doors just kind of fell off. But you could tell they were tired. You could tell they were frustrated. The officiating wasn't very good last night, and really the officiating has been kind of suspect all year long. Not just with the Bulls, but when you're watching games, on other teams, a lot of new younger officials are coming into the game. The games are kind of choppy. Indecisions on calls. It's tough. It's tough. So it kind of slows the game down, bogs it down a little bit. But hey, listen, we got two games against under 500 teams. We should be able to pick these 2 wins up. We get Vooch back, I think, at the end of the week. Hopefully AC's injury is not bad and he doesn't miss a lot of time. And we should pick these 2 wins up before we have to play Miami.
Yeah, we're taping the show on Tuesday evening. The Bulls have listed both Nikola Vucevic and Alex Caruso as questionable for the Wednesday night game against Houston, which means there's a 50-50 chance. Knowing how tough Caruso is, he'll probably be out there. But with Vooch, might be good to get him a couple more days of practice because, Stacey, obviously when you play a team that traded you away, you always have a little bit of extra motivation. So going into Orlando, they're starting a really big front line with Mo Bamba at center, Wendell Carter's playing the power forward, and the 6'9" rookie Franz Wagner is playing the small forward. So you're going to need some size on Friday night.
Yeah, and I think Vooch understands, he just started to turn the corner with his offense, and right before he gets COVID, and then that shelves him. He was really looking good the games before he went out, and I know he wants to get back and get into a rhythm. He doesn't want to be in that situation where he was at the beginning of the season where he couldn't make shots. Now he's got his feet underneath him, his legs underneath him. He started to really feel it a little bit. 3-point ball looked really good right before he went out. And so hopefully he can continue to build on that and be ready to go when they play on Friday night against the Orlando Magic.
It was nice to see Coby White make some 3-point shots in that win over the Knicks. You can see he's still feeling his way out there a little bit, but it's just going to take some time to get into the flow of the game, and we know he can score, which will be a really helpful benefit for that second unit, don't you think?
Yeah, he's going to be big for them off the bench. I think he needs to get into his mindset, stop trying to do too much, and just play. Just do what you do best. That's score. They don't need you to run the show. They don't need you to get your teammates involved. They need you to be a scorer off the bench, a la Jamal Crawford type of player, Ben Gordon type of player, where when you come off that bench, you instant microwave. You coming out there, you boom, 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 boom. You're stringing together a couple of threes, couple of twos. Your instant offense. And then once you get a rhythm, once you understand your role, because I thought early on, I thought he was lost. I thought he was lost offensively. Like, where's he supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? But you saw against New York when he's locked in and to what he does best. His stroke is better than anybody in the league. He can shoot the ball. And I think, he's been thinking a little bit too much. Well, what I got to do this, what I got to. His game is totally different than Ayo's. His game is totally different than, Lonzo Ball and, AC. His game's not like that. His game is like Zach's, per se,
right,
where he scoring is easy for him. So it's a lot more easier for him to score, Mark, than it is for him to pass and get teammates involved. And I know he wants to be a point guard. I know that's what when they drafted him, that's what, they felt like that's what he was going to be. But maybe he's not going to be that. Jamal Crawford was a 6'6" point guard, coming out of Michigan, and then he became, one of the best six man in NBA history, where he knew his role. Like, hey, yeah, I'm not here to be a point guard anymore. I'm here to score. They need me to score. Every team he's been on, it's like, hey, go get me 30, and that, I think Kobe's got to get in that mindset and, go out there with that mindset of like, I got to come out there and be instant offense when I come out there.
Right now, the Bulls stand in the number 2 position, tied with Miami, right behind the Brooklyn Nets, and they've been one of the big success stories early in the season. But you know how fans are, Stacey. I get mentions on Twitter all the time. People have their trade machines out, and they're like, "Oh man, we got to get another power forward. We got to get another big man." Their lack of size did show up in that game against the Pacers. They've got 2 legit post guys with Sabonis and Turner. Do you think at some point AK is going to take a look at the roster and maybe try to go out and add another big man to this mix?
You never know. You know that, AK and Mark are constantly looking to make the team better. They've proven that last year when they brought in, they got Vooch from Orlando at the trade deadline. I think what they see now with this team is they've got a legit team that can go deep into the playoffs, at least second round deep, and maybe one big away from really making some noise in the Eastern Conference, because none of those teams really scare you. Brooklyn without Kyrie really doesn't scare you as much as they would if he was there. Okay,
right?
Because you have 3. You have James Harden's not playing like James Harden. I don't know, it's like Space Jam, where the aliens took his abilities or something. He's just not the same guy. I don't know what it is. He's not getting calls. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't seem like the James Harden. He has games where he's James Harden, but there's more games where he's not. And Kevin Durant has to do a lot. They got a lot of injuries right now. Guys are missing games and stuff. So they're struggling a little bit, even though they're, top of the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee, I still think those teams who are legit playoff teams that are on the bottom, like Philadelphia, Milwaukee, it's just a matter of time before they right the ship and they get themselves back to where they're back to the Eastern Conference elite. They're not going to stay, like Philadelphia right now is currently 8th in the poll in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee's 7th. those two teams are not 7th and 8th
right.
in a real situation. They're top 3, top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. I think Miami is here to stay. I think the Bulls are here to stay. The team you need to watch out for is Boston. I think Boston's won 6 in a row or something since we beat them that game. And the way, they had us beat at a point, where they were playing really well. Then all of a sudden they started playing, hero ball, and then they fell out. But I think they won. Let me see how many games they won. They're 3 games back. They've won. They're 5-3 at home, 5-5 on the road. But they've won 4 or 5 in a row. So,
yeah, Jaylen Brown just got back. He was out with an injury for about a week or so.
Yeah, they beat the Lakers the other night, which is an impressive win. Jason Tatum had a good game. New York is one of those teams. What did I tell you about Atlanta? What I tell you about Atlanta, y'all didn't want to listen to me about the Hawks, okay? The Hawks have a lot of talent. They had a lot, and I feel like the Hawks are still going to be an Eastern Conference power at some point, but it may not be in the next couple of years.
They can't win on the road. They're 1-8 on the road.
Yeah, they're 8-1 at home and 1-8 on the road. Yeah. And if you want to be a serious contender, and I said this last night with the Bulls, is that if you want to be a serious contender, they have to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Okay, because we know they're going to play against the elite teams and play at the optimal level, but they can't have nights off where they don't show up and play against Houston tomorrow night, or they don't show up and play against Orlando, and those two teams get wins off of you. You can't let that happen, because I saw where Milwaukee went in there and blew out Orlando. The elite teams are blowing out these teams that are at the bottom of the league. You got to do that. And if you're Atlanta, how can you be so good at home, 8-1, and be 1-8 on the road? That means you're not focusing. That means you're not locked into what you need to do. And that's one of the reasons why I think they're having problems, because they can't get themselves locked into, they're young. They get on the road. Maybe guys are hanging out, at nighttime and not, getting their proper rest, and maybe that's affecting. Who knows? But to be 1-8 on the road is not very good for a team who was the 5th seed last year.
Yeah, they played the Knicks in that first-round playoff series. Hey, before we talk more about the current NBA, thinking about Thanksgiving reminded me of the fact that when you were playing, it seemed like just about every year with that circus road trip, you guys were on the road for Thanksgiving. When you look back on it, tell the folks maybe about the best Thanksgiving spread you guys had at a team, or maybe the worst Thanksgiving spread. You don't have to mention any hotels or anything, but cities you were in where things didn't go the way you hoped.
Well, I think the best Thanksgiving we're in Los Angeles, because of the weather. We were there for, multiple days. We'd have Aunt Kizzy's soul food restaurant. We'd do some stuff. They always had great food, and that was fun, But if you got put in some place like Utah, turkey was dry. It just wasn't good. It was like wood. It's like wood. It's just but you know what? The funny thing about it is I don't think I've ever, even I go back to college, Mark, I've never been home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Isn't it? It's crazy to think. Like I know, because we had we always had the circus trip or whatever. But I go back to even my 4 years in college. I never was home for Thanksgiving or Christmas. If when I played with the Bulls now, we always had Christmas Day games at home. So that was cool. So we'd always, you'd have Christmas Day and then you have the last game on the schedule. So you got a chance to hang out with your family on Christmas and then go play. But we never got to play at home on Thanksgiving. That would have been pretty cool if we'd have been able to do that. But, the circus trip always, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey always had the priority. And, but you don't get no better food than from your mom.
That's for sure.
Your wife or your family cooking. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go out to eat and they cater something in from a restaurant, and it's like, oh man, I miss my mom's. Sweet potatoes and sweet potato pie and all that stuff. And you don't get that stuff. Collard greens and the turkey is fried now. There's the deep fried turkey, the juicy turkey. Because see, I'm not a turkey guy. I'm really a ham guy. See, when I growing up, in the King household, Thanksgiving was huge, because we had a lot of people to feed. Okay. So my mom, the reason why I don't like turkey so much, except for dark meat, I'm a dark meat guy. Okay. The reason why I don't like turkey so much is because when the feast was over at the King household, we had turkey for the next 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
We had turkey sandwiches, turkey stew, turkey jerky. We had turkey and dumplings.
Yeah.
It was just like you had turkey. My mom did not let any of the turkey go. Okay. There was nothing going in the trash. There was nothing going to some other people. It was like she had for lunch, you had turkey something every day.
Yes, like
and
not turkey again.
Food. Yeah, you used to trade lunch with kids,
right?
And they'd be like, and they know when Stacey King during Thanksgiving, don't trade lunch with him because all you got is turkey. So I could never trade nothing. I couldn't get nothing. Like, hey man, I'll trade you this turkey sandwich for that cupcake. Man, you crazy? I'm not eating that dry turkey your mom made.
Pavel helping out there, man.
Pavel.
He's on top of everything. Way to go, Pavel. Hey,
way to go, Pavel.
Hey, going back to those champion Bulls days, who was like the real finicky eater that didn't like anything and didn't want any of the turkey or didn't want anything that it was brought in on the spread?
I would probably say like MJ. MJ didn't really like any of the stuff.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, because we're all used to having our moms cook, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tough to be an NBA player and having to go on the road during Thanksgiving, you know, because none of that stuff, you know, they don't cook it like your family cooks it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll try this. You know, the cranberry sauce is not as good. It's like, oh God, come on, man. Because you know, some people make homemade cranberry sauce.
Right.
Like my mom made homemade cranberry sauce. This is like cranberry out of a can. That's blasphemy. Okay, you can't do that. Okay, you know, like I said, the turkey be over, you know, dry. You know, so it's like, you know, chewing like, you know, like cotton. You know, the turkey's on the table going, hey, get any water? Hey, King, you think you can miss me down just a little bit? Yeah, that's how dry the turkey was. The turkey talking to you.
The turkey sounds a lot like Bill Cartwright.
It might have been. It might have been a Bill Cartwright turkey. Hey, put some water on me.
And you think about Phil Jackson, you know, the Zen master. Did he hit the spread, or was he like a salad vegetable guy?
No, everybody ate. I mean, you know, we came down as a team. You know, it was kind of mandatory. There was no like, come if you want. You know, it was, you know, Phil always made sure we did things like that as a team because that's part of family gathering. And we are family. So it was that's one thing I say about him, man. He had a pulse of his team. You know, nowadays, you know, coaches say, hey, you come if you want. There'll be food down here, you know, for you if you want it. But Phil, that's one reason why I felt like we were so tight as a group. I mean, you wouldn't know that now with Scotty's book, but, you know, before all that, we were pretty tight. You know, but at the same time, he always stressed family. He always stressed family. He always stressed everybody come down to eat. Here, we're eating at 6 o'clock. Everybody be down here. Don't be late. And all the guys would respect that. I mean, it's just like your dad telling you know, how you gonna disappoint your dad. So, you know, even though you be going down there like it's like death row. You know, you're walking down there
like your hat,
Murderer's Row. Yeah, Murderer's Row. Like, you know, like what is that? The Green Mile.
Yeah,
like, you know, your last meal.
Right.
And then you just tell the people the meal is so bad. You say, man, just go ahead and kill me. just kill me. Just kill me. The turkey's dry. We got canned cranberry sauce. You know, the sweet potatoes, the candy yams is no. They're not even candy. They're just yams. Oh, Lord.
And the word is that the late, great Tex Winter always enjoyed a free meal.
Hey, listen. America. Tex was awesome.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Tex was like, Tex honestly was like a human garbage disposal. Okay. nothing ever went, you know, to waste with Tex.
Right.
If no one was eating, you know, everybody get up at the table. Tex is taking stuff back to his room and to take home with him. And we're flying back to Chicago in 2 days. He's taking potato salad with him. It's like, well, that's going to go bad, Tex. No, it won't. Oh, I got it right here wrapped up. Like, oh, Lord. Salmonella, oh, Lord. So he must have had an iron cast stomach that could take acid because he would take a steak. Like he would take a half-eaten steak and like put it, wrap it up in a napkin and put it in his pocket.
Oh,
and just
no.
walk out. He'd walk out. And he'd be like, did he just grab a steak? Did he just grab a steak with a half meat on it and take it out?
Yeah.
He didn't let anything go, man. Like we used to tease Tex. Like They said Tex, you know, he never cashed checks or anything, right? He never went to the bank or anything.
Yeah.
He said he had his money buried in the yard, in the backyard. He just buried. So if you go to, if anybody knows where Tex Winter lives in Deerfield, if you go in his backyard and just start digging up that backyard, you probably find a lot of money in coffee cans, Folgers cans.
Yeah, it was always interesting to see that occasionally a head coach or an assistant coach would wander into the media room at the United Center to get that free meal, and you wondered, like, what's that per diem no good, or just a chance to save some of that money, right?
No, I'm telling you, man, Tex could eat too. I mean, he's a little bitty guy, but he could eat.
Yeah.
And you know the guy Robin Ficker.
Yeah.
Robin Ficker used to kill him, man, on the sideline. He said, hey, Tex Winter, you got a lot of guts. You got a lot of guts. Unfortunately, you got 3 of them. Stop eating. I'm like, oh, Lord. Oh, did he just say that? Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. So, but Tex could put away some for God. I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you something, but a great man, though.
Yes.
Great man. Just a Hall of Famer. It's so amazing that he doesn't get, you know, the accolades that he deserves for his triangle offense. Because here it is now, 25, 30 years later, and teams still use it. They don't call it the triangle, you know, because of Phil. You know, they don't want to hear that. But every team in the NBA now, here it is, 2021. That offense was like in the 1950s. Here it is, 2021. And every team in the NBA, Mark, because I watch it every night, and I know the triangle like the back of my hand. But every team in the NBA uses some variation of the triangle. It's amazing to watch. Like, they don't want to give him his credit. They don't want to run the full triangle. I don't know why you wouldn't want to run the full triangle, especially when a team who won, you know, 6 titles in 8 years with that, you know. And I think the big thing is, well, you need Michael Jordan. When no one has a Michael Jordan to win titles. Nah, you got to have high basketball IQ guys to win the title. It's nice to have an ace in your sleeve. So when the game gets on the line, you just slam it and go, domino, number 23, go get him. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that's why teams don't run it. But they use a variation of the triangle. Here it is 30 years later, which shows you, you know, how impressive Texas offense was.
And Tex had to do some convincing through the head coach, of course, both MJ and Kobe Bryant later when they went over to the Lakers, that, hey, this can work for you. And I know neither Michael or Kobe really liked that idea at first.
No, I mean, because why would you? If you're Michael, you're averaging 30 points a game, just shooting anytime you want. You know, Phil had to go in and basically smooth it over. You know, because they wanted to run it with Doug when Doug was the coach, and Jerry really wanted Doug to run it, and they just let's stay with this offense here. Boom, boom, boom. And then, you know, when Phil took over, that offense was going to, you know, Jerry made sure that offense was going to be the priority. And so the cool thing about that offense was we all learned it at the same time. So that offense is like, it was hard to come in if you were a player, let's say like Cliff Levingston, coming to a team that's already won a couple of titles. You're coming into that team and you have to pick up that offense. Now we know that offense like the back of our hand. We know every cut, every, screen, we know everything. Where a new guy has to come in and they're trying to learn it. It's like, oh my God, like, their heads about to explode, So the cool thing about us, like my rookie year, we all learned it at the same time. So, we used to think it was like the dumbest offense at first because it was kind of like Tai Chi. When you're in Tai Chi, you're out there just, you're on the grass, you're doing all these moves, and it's like ballet. You're like this, just doing this, like the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, but you're never hitting anything. You're never actually practicing. And then you question whether it works or not. Does this work? Does this offense work? We would work on fundamentals every day for about 35 to 40 minutes a day, 2-hand chest pass, bounce passes, because all those were very important in the offense. Overhead passes, being able to maneuver the ball and make the right passes and the right reads. And, we used to do the dummy the offense for a whole hour without a defense. And everybody be like, God, when are we going to do this? When are we going to actually scrimmage with this? Da-da-da. We never did. And so when the game time came, it's like Tai Chi. When they're threatened, they're taking you down. They don't.
Whispers, how about that hand speed? Huh? That's impressive.
That was something.
You see that?
We're gonna have to slow down the film for YouTube.
Look, America, I'm good with these hands, America. I told you, my knuckle game. My knuckle game is good. I told you. Hey, the 1-inch punch.
That's right.
I told you.
Hey, if you're listening to the podcast, go over to YouTube. You got to check this out. This hand speed is something to see. This is good stuff.
You got to see it. Look, Mark, I'm glad you recognize that.
That's right.
Okay, I'm glad you recognize that. See, people I think because I'm a big guy, I'm like,
yeah.
No. No. Look at the hands. Woo! And that's not edited, America.
Yeah.
America. Those are quick hands. Those Sugar Ray Leonard hands. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I just did my hands too.
No. Careful now.
Yeah, you didn't see anything, did you? Exactly.
What are you under the table? What are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing under the table, Tim?
He's giving new meaning to the wax on, wax off.
Oh, there we go. Don't steal my lines.
Oh my God. Oh, wax on, wax off, whispers.
Yeah, the Hustle and Flow studio is going to be in for a cleaning over the Thanksgiving break.
That's why we take the time. Clean it up. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Lady double, baby. We got to pay her double.
Oh, geez. Hey, we mentioned Thanksgiving coming up, and we're thankful for so many things here for our families, for our health, and we're also thankful for our great sponsors like our good buddy Jeff Vukovich. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance. That's nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And I know Stacey went with the long form jingle on one of the recent games. We enjoyed that. You going to give it to us tonight, Stace?
No. No, the pipes are a little rusty tonight. Okay, the pipes are rusty. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you the short version. America,
all right.
Nationwide is on your side, and Stacey King is too.
So we're real thankful for Jeff Vukovich, one of the great sponsors out there. Yes. He's a part of all the Bulls telecasts and all the other Chicago sports teams that you enjoy on NBC Sports Chicago. So special shout out and thanks to Jeff Vukovich as we're taping our Thanksgiving edition of Gimme the Hot Sauce. And we're really grateful to have all the sponsors on board. We'll acknowledge a couple more as we go through the show. Stacey, you look around the NBA. I know you mentioned a little bit earlier, some of the records, you think there may not be staying power there. Golden State's at the top of the West with only a couple of losses, and Phoenix is on fire. Phoenix has won 13 straight games coming off their finals appearance last year. I think the Suns are definitely legit, and the Lakers, they're back around 500, and LeBron, obviously frustrated, gets in a dust-up the other night with a guy named Isaiah Stewart of the Pistons. What'd you think about the penalties that were handed out there?
You know what? I tell you what, man. I don't advocate violence, as you know. And you just saw my hands.
That's right. Don't mess with Stacey.
You just saw my hand speed, okay? You saw how fast them hands are moving, right? I'm not just giving LeBron a 2-piece on that one. I'm giving LeBron like a 10-piece.
Yeah.
Because that was unnecessary. Okay, I understand that it's a physical game. We get all that. But, man, when you hit somebody in the face with a closed fist, that told me right there that in my mind, it's fight time. Mm-hmm. It's fight time. I can take an elbow to the chest. I can take an elbow or you slapping my arm down. I can take that. Okay. I can take you slapping me on the wrist. I can take that. Hard foul. Okay. Grab me when I go up for a dunk. Hard foul. Okay. I'll give you that. But when you swing an open fist and you drew blood.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it just hit him and it was like, hey, man, what'd you do that for? He drew blood on mouth and eye. And Stewart, here's what I say about Stewart. Okay, this is why I say NBA guys really don't know how to fight. Not this generation of guys. Okay, the acting was unbelievable. I was going to give Stewart an Academy Award because he didn't really want to start fighting until everybody got on the court. Then he want to be held back, and then the theatrics. Let me go. Let me kill him. I want to kill him. Okay, when you got up from the standing 8 count and you were standing face to face with LeBron. If you had those intentions, why didn't you do it right then and there? You know what I'm saying? You were right there face to face with him. And then it was like, LeBron was like, hey, you could tell LeBron was like, yo, man, I didn't mean to do that. And then all of a sudden, everybody rushed to the two of them. Then he just goes berserk. Like, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. Look, I'm going to get this guy. And it's like, dude, you didn't want any smoke from LeBron. You didn't want none of that smoke because you had an opportunity right then and there. There shouldn't even been no talking. I would have gotten up off that floor. And I'm telling you, if he would have hit me like that, I'd have got up off that floor. That's what he would have got. Yeah. America. He would have got these.
By the time
hands on his paws.
By the time Stewart went after him, there were like 30 people in his way. You know, that's when all of a sudden he was going to get tough.
Yeah, I mean, that's how a lot of these guys are. They, it's like, back in the olden days, boy, you go back and you look at guys like Maurice Lucas and, guys like that, Buck Williams, when they got into fights, Xavier McDaniel, them dudes didn't wait for guys to come break it up. If they're going to hit you, they're going to hit you right then and there. They're not going to wait for a whole team to come out. They're going at you. And, this generation guys, you can just tell they don't want to throw hands, man. Because, if you're Stewart, the first thing that went to your mind when you didn't attack him right then and there was like, wait a minute, man, this guy just hit me with, he wasn't really like really aiming at me. He just swung his hand and drew blood.
Yeah.
What if he really had some intentions? what if he really put some power behind that in a fight? What would that do to my face? I'm already bleeding from just like kind of a get off me type of hit. What if he really focused in on me? That's probably what he was thinking. But I tell you, you don't, man. I'm not letting that. If you ask anybody, any pro player, I've asked a lot of pro players. The first thing they said, me and LeBron would have been fighting.
Yeah,
would have been fighting. And I mean, the old school guys all say that. So because we all come from that era where benches cleared, but they never got to you in time. You know what I'm saying? The fight started. It started right then and there. Boom, 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 boom. Fist being thrown. Then everybody jump in. They didn't wait until everybody got in. Then let's fight now. Let me get him. No.
Golden State, I mentioned, having the best record in the West, and Klay Thompson's now cleared for 5-on-5 practices. He's expected to come back in mid-December. They're already scary. You add Klay Thompson to the mix, you get James Wiseman back to provide some shot blocking and rim protection. That's going to be a nice crew come playoff time.
I told you, man. I said this about them last year when they were playing all their reserve players, their rotational players. They were getting their butts kicked. Steve Kerr and that front office was establishing, getting them ready for when the core group guys come back. Because you know what Steph's going to do. You know what Draymond's going to do. And you know what, if Klay Thompson is healthy, you know what he's going to do. You got the rookie Wiseman. He's already shown you what he can go do when he's healthy. So now you're like, okay, now we got these guys around them, the other guys, if that pool who develop into now like a star player, it's going to be tough for them to be able to keep him in a couple of years because of the way he's played himself into being a starter in this league as a two guard. So all these kids they develop and they're playing out of their minds right now. So, and then Steph Curry's always going to be, up there in MVP talk all the time because of the way he shoots the basketball, and they play with so much confidence. When Steph Curry, I said this the other night, when Steph Curry is shooting the ball and he's not even looking at the rim and he's talking to the crowd before the ball goes in, that tells you it's going to be a long night for you. I mean, it is. I mean, you have to make a decision with them. I think you're going to have to decide if you're a team that really wants to beat them. You're going to say, okay, do we let Steph Curry go off and get 40 or 50 and shut everybody else down? But you're not going to be able to say that in a few weeks because now you got Klay Thompson coming back, and it's like, okay, geez, like who do we take away? Because if we take one of them away, the other one's going to kill us. And then you got Poole that can shoot the basketball as well, and Draymond Green getting all the assists, and Wiseman coming back giving you athleticism and rebounding. They're going to be scary, man. They're going to be scary.
What about Phoenix? I mentioned they're on a 13-game winning streak, which is really impressive. And people thought maybe they were a one-hit wonder. But I'll tell you what, you Chris Paul, you got a shooter like Booker. Ayton keeps getting better on the inside. They've added some depth with some veterans like JaVale McGee coming off the bench. And that's a team I think that's got a shot to maybe get back to the finals. What's your take on Phoenix?
I don't know because, I look at them, if they get matched up against a certain team, it's going to be tough for them because they don't match up well against like Utah. They don't match up well against I don't believe they match up well against Denver either. There's a couple of teams that they could have problems with. Could they beat Golden State? Yeah, probably. But I don't a good big like Jokic. And I'm going to tell you, if they get Jamal Murray back here pretty soon, I watched him warm up in Denver the other night. And I have to honestly say he is one of these guys that doesn't get a lot of press as being a great shooter, but I won't put him on Steph Curry level or Klay Thompson level, but he's right below those guys as far as the way he shoots the basketball. I was watching him warm up. You wouldn't even know that he was hurt. I mean, some of the shots he was making, I mean, he was shooting from half court, draining them like Steph Curry does. And I'm like, geez, this guy's got some serious range. And I was just watching how he was moving. And when they get him back, with the cat with Jokic there, and then Porter, Porter Jr. has been hurt with a back injury. It's really, that really is taking him out of a few games. But they're going to be a tough matchup when they get everybody back. Because I thought Aaron Gordon, that's my first time seeing him live in Denver. Because we didn't travel last year, and I don't remember if he played when he was on the team when they came here, but he gives them a whole different look. I mean, you put him and Michael Porter Jr., you got two athletic wings that both can shoot, they both can defend, they both are athletic. To play with Jokic, who is one of the best big man passers in the game, and you throw Murray out there, Denver to me is the team to beat out west. I know people are gonna laugh right now because you're looking at Golden State playing well, Phoenix playing well, but if they get Jamal Murray back and they can get Porter Jr. healthy, Denver to me is the team to beat. And they're right now, they're currently sitting 8th. They're 9-8 right now. They're also struggling at home. They're 2-5 on the road. Most of these teams in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference are playing bad on the road. There's only in the Western Conference, I think you got 3 teams that are, above 500 in the win column on the road. In the Eastern Conference, it's the same thing. You've got 2 teams, the Bulls and Brooklyn, that have winning records on the road. You got a 500 Miami team that's 5-5, but there's only 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that are above 500, and that's the Bulls in Brooklyn.
Pavel, you got any music for us? You got any music you can play? That's some of the stuff you were working on before the show? You got anything? DJ Pavel? You got any music?
Pavel, you up?
Some transitions.
Pavel, you sleep over there? What you doing over there, Pavel?
Yeah, we're just
Pavel over there talking to the ladies. He's talking to a lady friend. What you doing over there, Pavel?
Uh-oh.
Oh, it sounded like an ice cream.
I thought he was going to start singing.
I surprised him. Unscripted is not good, but you're talking in the second language.
No, you got to give Pavel some warning. Now you know how we felt in the beginning.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should thank another one of our great sponsors. That would be Angel Water, Chicagoland's largest water conditioning service for healthy water for a healthy you and a healthy home. Angel will test your water for free with the code KING21. Call 847-382-7800 for a free water test and healthy water plan with the code KING21. That's 847-382-7800. It's what Timmy Whispers and company have used for years, right?
Oh, many years. I've got everything in my house. I can drink out of my toilet.
I don't know if that's something that you want to tell the folks
I'm
at
saying
home.
I can. I don't.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you said you did. No, hey, Mark, make sure we never ask for a glass of water in his house.
Take it right out of the toilet.
That's all right.
And you guys never know.
Okay, I brought my own bottle. Whispers. I'm drinking my own water, buddy.
Hey, I soaked the ribs in the toilet.
Hey, let's talk a little football. A lot of talk here in Chicago, Stacey. You know, you just hit the road. It's getting pretty ugly surrounding things at Hallis Hall. Matt Nagy, as you experienced it with people at the Bulls game against the Pacers, were chanting "Fire Nagy," and then Coach went to see his son play football for Cary Grove in a playoff game, and the fans in a high school football game were chanting "Fire Nagy." I mean, whatever you think of the guy's coaching ability, that's out of bounds to me. I mean, you don't attack somebody when he's trying to be a dad and, you know, watch his kid play a high school football game. You know, that's the ugly side of professional sports. I'm sure you've experienced it, but for Matt Nagy, who's a class guy, whether or not you think he's a good football coach, the guy deserves some respect.
Yeah, you don't do that. I mean, we're better than that in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's something that you hear from other places, you know, but not in Chicago. I mean, we're a traditionally very good sports town. We support, you know, all the teams. The fans support all the teams. They're loyal. They're ride and die. You know, even when teams are bad, they still get out there and they support their team. I know they're frustrated. I know they're frustrated with the Bears this year. You know, but it's one of those seasons, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they got a terrible offensive line. They got a lot of injuries. They just lost Khalil Mack for this season. Mm-hmm. You know, so their defense, they lost a couple guys off the defensive side of the ball that's really put them in a hole. You know, so this has been a tough year. I think it should have been a year of evaluation for them. You know, I think the front office should have taken that approach this year, not the approach that we're going to win now. We're going to get to the playoffs. We're going to win, you know, our division. I think what should have been said was, let's see what, you know, this kid's got. Let's see what we need to improve on. What kind of weapons do we need to get this kid to be the quarterback that we think he can be, Justin Fields? Where can we get better on the offensive end and on the defensive side of the ball? Do we need to get younger in certain areas? I mean, this should have been an evaluation year. And I know, Andy Dalton got hurt, and that really forced their hand to play probably Justin Fields probably sooner than they thought. But, oh, well, it happened. He's out there. Now, what do you do with him out there? You got to protect him. You should already – we talked about this on the show previous times, that they should have had a package for him that could utilize his skill set. They had him for the first 3 or 4 games. They had him in Andy Dalton's skill set, know, and I mean, he didn't look good in that. I mean, I've always said that, they should probably call Baltimore and said, hey, look, man, what are y'all doing with Lamar Jackson? I'm not saying he's going to run the ball as much as Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson runs, 15, 20 times a game like a running back. And to be honest with you, it's just a matter of time before he gets hurt, because these guys are too big and strong in this league for a quarterback to be running 15, 20 times a game between the tackles. Not like running outside. He's running RPOs in the hole, so but he's a tremendous athlete, and he's getting away with it so far. But with Justin Fields, put him in some RPOs, let him get outside the pocket, roll out, put some quick hit offense for him. He's shown you he's got an arm. He showed you can make every throw that's out there. It's just his decision making, having confidence in making those throws. After he's been sacked 32 times this year, 32 times, in how many games they played, so, that's gotta shake the kid up a little bit, but he's a tough kid, he competes. And I think this year should have been an evaluation year for the coaching staff, for the front office. They should have been evaluated, because Matt Nagy came over as this offensive genius, and it's the same thing with Trestman. Trestman came over as this offensive genius, and then they get here and you don't see any kind of explosive offense.
Well, when you say Kansas City, Andy Reid was the guy calling the plays, so I think that he kind of was on Andy's coattails. And you mentioned the fact that the Bears now have lost 5 games in a row. They're 3-7 for the year. They've got 7 games left to try to accomplish something. And there was a report from a pretty credible news reporter on Tuesday morning stating that Matt Nagy will be fired after the game against the Lions on Thanksgiving. Now, the Bears have never fired a coach in season, so that casts a little bit of doubt on that report. But I don't think he's long for Chicago. And I was talking to Whispers before we started, Stacey, and my thought is you can't just stop with firing the coach. If you want to really change things, the McCaskey family has to hire a football president, a guy who's a football person, not Ted Phillips, who's a finance guy. Get a football guy in to run the organization. Let him hire his own general manager, who can then hire his own coach. That's the way the NFL has always been done, and the Bears have never really figured that out.
Well, I mean, the Bears are they've been kind of run like a mom and pop store.
Right.
The time has passed them by. I mean, even at, Soldier Field, everyone's moved into these big venues, and they still are in a smaller venue, and they got a huge fan base. I mean, their brand is still huge. And, I think it's what somebody said, 100 years, 101 years, they never fired a coach in season or whatever. Yep. I don't see that happening. And even if they were going to do it, now they have to. They're probably saying, "Well, we can't do it now. Everybody knows we're going to do it. So, well, what the hell? Let's let them finish out the season." You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't start with Nagy. It goes through all the personnel people, your scouting department. Who's scouting these people? I've always said, I'm just talking from an NBA level, NBA standpoint. I always felt like if I was a front office person, if I was the owner of a team, the first thing I would do is look at the teams that have success. Okay. That consistently have success in our league in the NBA. They're consistently in the playoffs. They're consistently winning. If they're winning titles, great. And then I'm saying to myself, okay, why are they doing that? What are they doing? Are they drafting good? I mean, what is it? So what I would do, I would go just steal people off people's, teams. I would go, who's your number one scout, San Antonio? Because you guys always seem to get these guys from overseas that turn out to be really good. Ginobili, Tony Parker, you get all these guys that are that are no one's heard of, but they come over to the United States and they're like all-stars, future Hall of Famers. So I would ask who their number one scout is. And then I would say, how much are they paying you? I'll give you more than what they're paying you. And then I would have that guy go hire more people in the office, the people that he feels are good at what he does. Because Mark, if you're a scout, you know which scouts are good.
Right.
You know which guys are really good because you all work together. You're all communicating. So So I would have that guy go hire, thing. It's kind of how the Bulls did it with AK. AK comes in. AK comes from Denver. He helps build Denver. And Denver, you got all these guys. No one knew who Jokic was when he came over here. He was a little chubby big guy, had some skills, but no one knew he was going to be the way he is now. But, AK was all part of that scouting. You got Nurkic. They made that trade with the Bulls to get Doug McDermott. Then you gave up, you Gary Harris and Nurkic. So you had two young centers. Denver had two young centers, from Europe on their team. And they traded the other one to Portland and flipped that for something, So, that's what I would be doing. Find out who are making these decisions. Try to go get those guys. So if you're the Bears, which teams has great personnel people? And then you go say, let me talk to your assistant general manager who may be the assistant general manager to a great general manager, and say, let me talk to him. Let me get a young guy with innovation that can, think things and see things, ahead where we want to go and where we want to transition to. Because you remember, they're in a tough situation because they're trying to get a new stadium built. So you don't want to be taking garbage with you. You want to leave the garbage at Soldier Field, and then you want to be taking a team that can compete for not only a Super Bowl, but win your division and beat the Packers.
Whispers is trying to get the concessions at that new Arlington place. He said that he can provide ribs for 75,000 people.
MB sponsored by Traeger.
Hey, let me tell you something. let me tell you something. After America found that Whispers drinking out of the toilet, ain't nobody buying his damn ribs.
Come on, that's the secret sauce. It's not. We thought it was the King's.
That ain't no secret sauce.
Mark, ain't nobody buying his damn ribs. He just said I get out of the toilet. I soak my ribs in it. Ain't nobody eating out his ribs. I'm not even eating his ribs anymore.
It's the enzymes. Those enzymes.
Don't even invite me over. Don't even invite me over to eat your ribs. As you told
I'm
me
finally free of this, Mark. I'm finally free of the rib quest.
So Whispers, what do you think about the Bears potentially moving to Arlington? Is that something you're excited about?
As I took the train down to the Bears game on Sunday morning, I was thinking, man, that was a short ride right from Barrington to Arlington Park there. And you look at that huge parking lot and all that parking, man, that would be very convenient. Could keep me here a little longer.
Where are you going?
I don't know. That would keep me here a little longer. And I think I could do the ribs if it was right there.
Oh, my God.
And, and in the stadium, yeah, you're right. The resounding fire.
Isn't a former Bear the mayor of Palatine?
Is that
Jim
true?
Schwantz?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Hey, we might need to go there and scoop up some property.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get on that. No one else has thought of it. No one else has thought of it yet.
Hey, I'm just saying. We're coming in the pandemic. Hey, somebody might be thinking it. Might be thinking it's too expensive.
Just move in there. To the game doesn't mean you can't win.
Let's go buy some property, baby.
Hey, Stacey, it was a wild weekend in the NFL. All kinds of upsets. The Packers lost. The Cowboys lost. The Texans beat Tennessee, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Buffalo lost again to the Colts. It's kind of upside down. It doesn't look like there's any clear-cut favorite. I know Whispers. What did you have? The Titans and the Packers last week was your prediction?
Yeah, but I was thinking, who's this Carson Wentz guy?
And they both lost. Who do you like, Stacey? I mean, we're past the halfway point. Somebody's got to rise above this thing and show that they're the class of the league.
Well, I mean, I think in the NFC you got like 4 teams, maybe 5 that can come out of there. I think, Tampa Bay is still the favorite to come out. I think if the Cardinals can get Kyler Murray healthy, they're going to cause teams problems.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay is still the dark horse because if they can play like they always seem to start heating up at the end, and they can get on a little run here and try to get home field advantage when it's cold. I know Tampa Bay proved you can walk in there and beat them, but I don't think any other team could have done that. I don't think Tom Brady, the quarterback, has played in snow in Foxborough. So people forgot about that. So it didn't affect him. And then once his team saw that it didn't affect him, they're like, well, it's not going to affect us either. Because that's a mental roadblock for teams having to go into Lambeau late in the season. I don't care who you are. It's just tough. So I got Green Bay and I got Dallas. Dallas, you know what? I'm so disappointed in the Cowboys because one minute they look great, the next minute they look like trash. I mean, Dak Prescott's on my fantasy team. I just want to throw that out there, America. I do play fantasy. Matter of fact, I'm a 10-time champion in my league, but I'm not bragging. Okay, so anyway, I got him on my fantasy team. The week before they played, I think they played. I don't know who they played, but I benched him. He scored all these points the next game, and then he laid an egg this week. I'm like, come
against
on,
the Chiefs.
Like,
and they're going to lose Thursday too.
Oh, it was against the Falcons.
Yeah,
he threw up almost 400 yards against the Falcons. I'm like, and I benched him. I had him on the bench.
Oh man!
I had So I started Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan laid an egg. I'm like, oh man. So then I put Dak Prescott back in the lineup this week, and he's terrible again. I'm like, oh man. So in the AFC though, woo man, I tell you what, boy.
There's nobody. Nobody stands out.
I think Buffalo. Hey, don't sleep on the Patriots.
Yeah, they're hot.
Throw that out there.
Yeah.
I listen. That kid, Mac Jones, is for real. That kid is for real, dude. He reminds me of Brady. He's very cerebral. You can just tell he knows where all the balls are supposed to go. He doesn't panic in the pocket. He arguably might be the best rookie. I can see why San Francisco was thinking about drafting him, ahead of Trey Lance and Fields. I can see why they were thinking that. And maybe they're looking back on that now going, holy shit, man, maybe we should have drafted this kid, because you could just tell, man, he has a great feel for the game. His teammates love him. The offensive line, he looks like Tom Brady back there. Like he can make every throw, and you could tell the team believes in him. Belichick believes in him. And when your head coach like Belichick, who's kind of old and crusty and set in his ways, if he believes in you, that gives that kid utmost confidence. I mean, you're playing for Saban, man.
Saban told him
Belichick are kind of the same coaches, So I would not be surprised if the New England Patriots found a way to go to a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback.
Hey, last week on the show, you professed your allegiance to being a Georgia football fan now on a college level. But,
yes.
Hey, with Oregon losing, let's play the scenario out. With Oregon losing, they're out. Pac-12's out. ACC's out. If Georgia hammers Alabama in the SEC championship game, that could create an opportunity for the Big 12 champion to sneak on in there. You got the big Bedlam game coming up this weekend.
Listen, Mark.
You're his friend again.
Mark. No,
I'm trying to give you some hope here.
Come on, is he back in?
Mark. No, I'm not back. Mark, the Sooners are out, man.
All right.
There's no. They might lose this game this week against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that would hurt, right?
I think they're playing in Stillwater.
Yeah, they are.
And and oh man, this is not going to be pretty because we have a hard time. We had a hard time against Baylor, and we have a hard time against Oklahoma State on the road. So that's always a rivalry game. You can throw the records away. That's what makes this game so important because it doesn't matter what your record is, but they both are playing for something. So, they could, if OSU wins and they go to the title game of the Big 12 and have a shot to get in the national championship game, if they win the Big 12 championship. So there's a lot at stake here for both schools. I don't think Oklahoma, and I love Oklahoma, don't get me wrong. They were winning with smoke and mirrors. Their defense is not very good and, they can't stop anybody. And when their offense is not scoring, then it puts pressure on the defense. And then teams are killing the defense. So, you find yourself down 3 or 4 touchdowns. No way in the world Baylor should have beat them. Baylor's not as talented as OU, but they just, they just play better together, and they're on the road. So, but I don't see Alabama losing to Georgia, to be honest with you. And here's my scenario on that one, Mark, is Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC title game. And Georgia still gets into
they both get in there. Right.
Game. Yeah, they both get in with one loss because the committee is going to say these are 2 best teams.
Right.
Depending on what the score is. If it's a complete whitewashing, which I don't see it happening because Georgia's defense is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I don't really see that happening. But if it's a close game, 31-30, 26-24, they'll both get in. I guarantee you. Something about the SEC, bro. They love the SEC. They want the SEC in that title game. If they get 2 in there, that's awesome.
And then the Big Ten winner, either Ohio State or Michigan, will be in the playoff. And then it looks like Cincinnati could be that 4th team now.
Oh man, it's just Cincinnati. They're having a great year, man.
Yeah,
they don't deserve to be there. They don't deserve
Well, then if it's not Cincinnati, it's either Notre Dame or the Big 12 champ.
Notre Dame doesn't.
No,
Notre Dame doesn't.
their schedule's not been strong this year
because their schedule is soft,
and they lost to Cincinnati.
Beat them. Yeah. So I'll listen. Just because Cincinnati's undefeated, I don't know what games they have left. Who they got that can give them some problems.
They've got the Little Sisters of the Poor this week.
I mean, who they play? I mean, they play nobody. They got Houston. Okay, so you got Houston. Houston is 8-0. Okay, they're 7-0 in their conference. They got ECU. I mean, honestly, like when do they play? I mean, when do they play Houston? Do they have to wait and see until they get to like their little conference championship game, the American Athletic Conference?
Yeah, they got a conference championship game.
Yeah, because Houston is 8-0 and 10-1 overall, but they're ranked 24th.
Right.
And you got Cincinnati 7-0, 11-0, and they're number 4. I think that winning at Notre Dame gave them some serious weight. That was a huge upset because I think Notre Dame was favored in that game, and for Cincinnati to walk in there and beat them at that stadium, that is like a huge weight right there for them. That really weighted their schedule down because there are other teams they played are they're not very good,
right?
So if they run the table, they deserve to be in there, but I think they're going to get whitewashed. I think whoever plays Alabama, whoever plays Georgia, it's just you're just there. You should just be thankful that you made it and say, hey, look, we made it to the Final Four. This is as far as we got.
We got some lovely parting gifts for you. Speaking of parting gifts, before we get out of here, it is Thanksgiving week. We're all looking forward to enjoying a good meal, except for Stacey. He's probably going to get a grouper sandwich at Hooters on Thursday.
Hey, Uber Eats. I'm coming.
All right. You're not going to be part of the team Thanksgiving dinner? You know, any dry turkey?
I've been part of a lot of team dinners, man.
You'll pass, right?
I think I'll just pass. I'll just pass.
So,
man.
Mark and Stacey, though, what's the worst side dish you've ever had where you're just like, why was that on the table? Who did this?
You know what I don't like is those those fruit gelatins and stuff, and people putting marshmallows and they're why? Why bother? There's all this good food on the table, and it just kind of just sits there. Everybody kind of looks at it like I ain't touching that,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think the worst thing that I've ever had at someone's house.
The meat pie. Who does that? Meat pies? Meat pies? Like not supposed to have meat in a pie.
Whispers has a lot of strange things going on Thanksgiving, I guess.
Oh my God!
The green bean casserole.
They spin the meat pie and then they throw it at the loser. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
I would probably say like I say the cranberry sauce, man. The cranberry sauce sets up everything.
How about when they slice it out of the can? Sauce is, you know what I'm talking about? When they slice it out of the can, like into.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Like old dog food, you know, like the dog food,
exactly.
Dog food come out of the can and just slides out and plops on a plate. Plop. Yeah, you don't want that, man. That just ruined the whole meal. Like don't even insult our intelligence by putting out canned cranberry stuff. That's just terrible.
And the green beans with mushroom soup, and then you throw the old onions on top. Whose idea was that?
Whose idea was that?
It's already a leftover when it started.
Or ham without like the honey glaze on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a regular ham.
Yeah.
We could have got that. We could have got that from anywhere. Why is that even on the table? You gotta have some kind of like honey glaze. You know how it's glazed and it's like got that little sweet stuff on it. Like I don't know. Watch how my mom made it. I've seen it just bone dry. Like what kind of ham is this? Like it's got no kind of sauce on it or nothing. So yeah, it's tough, boys. It's tough.
Well, Stacey was always. You mentioned you're always out of town playing basketball, whether it was on the college or professional level. But, for Amateurs like Whispers and myself, the best part of Thanksgiving a lot of times was Wednesday night and getting the whole group together.
Blackout Wednesday. Blackout.
I'm telling you what, some of the best times were getting during the college days when people come back and everybody gets together at their favorite bar and tell a bunch of lying stories about all the things you're doing. And then you wake up the next morning and you play tag football somewhere on a playground. Everybody's hungover. And it's amazing, Stacey, you think all these injuries that we have now, and you had these non-athletes all hungover playing touch football Thanksgiving morning, and nobody ever got hurt. I don't know what it was.
Because they all had the beer flu,
yeah.
And they're a little relaxed.
Man, that sounded like fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
That sounded like a good time.
Yeah. No, those are the best times, man.
See, I would have passed up a few of my little circus trips to do that.
Yeah,
that would have been fun. Playing some football. See, we'd have been playing tackle though. We ain't playing no touch. We tackling. We playing tackle.
Well, then people would be getting hurt. Yeah.
People would have really got hurt then, but we'd have been playing tackle. Yeah. That's cool though. Y'all did that. That's Blackout Wednesday. Y'all call it?
Oh yeah. That was one of the wildest nights on the calendar. Everybody was so fired up.
You stopped doing that, Mark?
Whispers is still chasing Blackout Wednesday. So,
oh my God!
If you see somebody driving the wrong way on the street in Palatine, you know the Whispers is still keeping the tradition alive
with a fur coat on.
That's right. I still have it.
Oh man, but
oh my God!
But Stacey's never going to be in danger driving because he's got the good folks at Windy City Limousine to take care of you, right, Stace?
Oh, hold on.
That was smooth segue right there.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, Whispers.
It's like butterscotch pudding on Thanksgiving.
Mark, I like that, Mark. It's transition very smooth. That's right. I like that.
No lumps in that gravy.
Hey, Windy City Limo provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact us at 866-94-WINDY. That is 866-94-WINDY, and tell them Whisper sent you.
And we're going to make sure Whispers takes advantage of that because we don't want him out on the roads on Blackout Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because it's me and the whole crew.
Oh, that's a scary thought. God.
That's a real scary thought. Scary thought.
Watch out in the northwest suburbs. Whispers and his crew is going to be out.
That's right.
Who's in your crew? Is Pavel in your crew?
Oh, he is now.
Is he? Okay.
Want some vodka?
Frank Farmer? No. Frank Farmer?
Frank Farmer.
I got Frank Farmer.
I got to have protection.
His group.
That's right.
Yes.
Chief Little Legs.
That guy. Yeah, Chief Little Legs. Yeah. We got a whole.
I'm bringing Mark with tomorrow. He's going to have a flashback.
That's right. And then we're going to play a turkey bowl on Thursday morning.
That's right.
Throw the pigskin around.
Bowl.
And that's right. And we'll be on crutches next week, but that's...
We're going to try to get on Stacey's fantasy team. Let's see how many touchdowns we can score.
Oh, yeah. Y'all be rolling in on one of those little things where you put your knee on it and you roll in on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that Achilles would snap after the second pattern, I think. Go off for a long pass. Snap. There goes that Achilles. Yeah. Not a good
thing. That Achilles.
Amateur athletes, you got to watch out. Yeah. Well,
either pro athletes are doing it now.
I know. Hey, we want to thank all our loyal listeners and viewers. The YouTube numbers have been climbing, and we hope you're enjoying watching the show on YouTube and getting a chance to laugh with us as we talk about the world in sports and what we've been doing for the last week or so. We want to thank everybody for making this one of the fastest growing podcasts. As Stacey said, it's your favorite podcaster's podcast, right, Stace?
Yes, sir, Ski. Hey, I just want to say, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah.
Again, as Mark said, just hammer home. Thanks for listening every week. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for always checking in on us. We appreciate it. We're not a show without you guys, and we're truly blessed to have as many fans as we do. So shout out to all you guys who continue to listen. And if you need somebody with some quick hands, if you get in trouble, call your boy.
Don't look for Isaiah Stewart. Get somebody that can actually throw some hands.
No, exactly. I might try to get Logan Paul. Everybody,
there you go.
He might want to fight me.
Everybody wants a piece of him.
Shot. Yeah, I want a piece of him too. I'm trying to get paid though. I need $10 million to fight you. Yeah.
You heard it here on the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Pavel, let's play that goodbye song. All right. There we go.
Oh, my goodness. It's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Jimmy